Well, it's a pretty long story, so I don't know where to begin. But yes, the idea sort of germinated in around 2003 when mobile phones or mobile telephony was introduced in Kashmir, which was already about 7 or 8 years later after it was available to the rest of the country. And at that time, what I witnessed was, I happened to be there when people were applying for mobile phone connections. And what I witnessed there was this, what I could only define as a really bizarre euphoria about owning this gadget. And for me, it was strange because I already had one. I hadn't thought about, acquiring technology that is, if you live in any big city, it's passing through you rather than. So this, every conversation centered around the mobile phone in anticipation. And initially, the film was about the introduction of mobile phones in Kashmir. But slowly, in the writing process itself, we got pulled into the mindscape more and more. And that mindscape, what was revealing, once I mulled over it, what was revealing about this euphoria was this insecurity that people were living with for so long, that this mobile phone was almost like a life jacket for them. You see, it became that that silence itself, you have to be in Kashmir to experience it, to realize how big a part. I mean, it sounds like a very noisy and loud place and people screaming all the time, but the nights especially, the silence is deafening. And as far as making it as an aesthetic choice, it became that because once I started writing the film, my first draft was almost entirely in dialogue form. I had put everything that I wanted to say about Kashmir on paper in dialogue form. And it was so difficult to go back to that it took me almost 1.5 to 2 years to actually start working on it again. And once I started working on it again in collaboration with my co-writer Shankar Raman, who happens to be the cinematographer as well. Our sole aim at that time was to get rid of the dialogue and to make the film to make the story as cinematic as possible. So in that sense, it was a conscious decision to turn what I want to say about Kashmir into cinema. So it was an aesthetic choice to be able to tell a story visually without having, and it is in a sense a reaction to where I come from in terms professionally, being part of the Bombay film industry, where basically you're condescending towards the audience, where you have this notion that they don't know anything and I'm going to tell them everything. That everything has to be spoon-fed to the audience because they don't know anything. So it's a reaction to that. So it's in that sense a resistance to a certain kind of cinema that I had seen. And why it was important here, it's almost like a political choice here, because this is a story which has not been told by that mainstream. Or they have brought their own compulsions and parameters and motivations in telling this story. And because it was an inside-out view, so I took basically this route of saying it without saying it. More than, and I, through this film, I had no intention of making people understand the Kashmir problem or the conflict or anything. I just wanted people to have, to arise certain sensations, some feelings that could connect them to the characters of the people in Kashmir.